Coach Rumba Munthali. Coach, your thoughts on today's result?
It sucks to lose that way, off of 2 set pieces to a team that scores a lot of goals on the run of play. Yeah, I thought we should have done better on that. I thought we should have done better with execution of the scoring chances that we had in the first half. But they're a really good team, and I thought in the second half we showed some fight and some resolve, and I commend the guys for the second half performance, but with a team like that, it's a little bit too late sometimes.
We are going to open the floor for question. Please alert me if you have one question for Coach. Vale, go for it.
Rumba, you made a handful of substitutions coming up in the second half. Obviously, Forster Ajago was the first person I want to ask you about because of his impact on the game, but also Amar Sejdić and others, which I saw you talking to them sort of throughout after you brought them on. Can you just give us a little bit of a sort of insight onto why you chose those players to come on and also what their impact was in the half?
So for Forster, I think he's a very dangerous player and causes defenders a lot of problems, which I think he did. I think he came on right away and started causing issues. And so as he's a younger player who's learning his trade and he's continuing to get better at training, he's deserving of minutes. And I think as we have these 3 games, that it's a good opportunity, but I also think he deserves it. A player like Amar, I think this game really suits Amar. I think, as the game went on, we had more possession in the game, and I think Amar is one of our most quality players on the ball, of picking out passes and finding people in pockets, extending the field. He's a very, very good player and sees the game very, very well, very intelligent player. So we thought that him coming on would allow us a little more opportunities to try to unlock some spaces that we could be dangerous in. And so that combination of Forster and Amar, we thought would help us out.
Rumba, as you mentioned, both Miami goals came off on set pieces. I guess, what exactly do you think Miami was able to take advantage of there, if there was anything?
The first one was a miscommunication, and the second one, the ball pops out, and they hit Jordi Alba hits a great shot. That's a good goal. I mean, in football, sometimes you'd rather get beat by a really good goal. The first one was, I think, a mistake on our part, and then the second one, it was a really good goal.
Yeah, and with Forster, this was by far his, most minutes of his MLS regular season career. I guess, what are the next steps? What do you want to see him do in order to build off this tonight?
I think it's just keep being consistent and affecting the game positively, getting better at practice and having better recognition of spaces that he can, run into, or he can come and sit inside the pockets, and I think he's doing a very good job of that.
Rumba, coming into the game, there was like that history of so close games between these 2 teams. Was today the same, or what made it different in terms of the score? Just the mistakes, or was it the performance so high or better from them in the first half that make a big difference that you couldn't overcome in the second half?
No, I think they scored 2 set pieces. I mean, I think we equally had dangerous chances, both teams. I think some of their shots that they had didn't hit the target and weren't close to the target. So I think that's just the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes, we're not a team that usually gives up set pieces, and so it's when you break it down to actions, right? There's 3 actions in the game that scored goals, right? And so if 2 of those actions go a different way, the score is 1-0 for one of the teams. Or if all 3 actions are different, 0-0. So I think both of our defensive structure didn't allow for too many opportunities, and I think we had equally good chances, but it's tough.
Coach, going to Sean Davis with the injury that got him with the blocked shot. Overall, have you spoke with him after the game? How's he feeling? And you mentioned earlier about Amar Sejdić. Could that possibly lead to more minutes for him if we see possibly Sean out for a little bit of time?
Yeah, for sure. I think Amar is getting more and more minutes as we go, and I think he's a vital part of this team because I think he does things that other people can't. And so, Sean is walking around in there, so I'm not sure exactly what his injury would be. But even if Sean is playing, there's space for Amar to play as well. And I think Amar is somebody that we value here at the club. And so, regardless of what happens with Sean, I think there's space for Amar for sure. Amar was going to come into the game regardless of if Sean was going to get hurt anyway. So, he was going to come in for Drew. And so I think he's a vital part to our success.
But just reflecting back on the 8 games now you've been in charge of Nashville SC, overall, I think there's improvement, or at least in terms of results, if anything, and as well as you've made some changes in terms of the way you play. But we talked to you earlier, and you were kind of like, we'll see how this head coaching thing goes, and you were kind of taking it as a coming in and doing your best. How do you feel now, 8 games in and over a month into the job?
I still feel the same. I think that for me, my job here at the club is to help players get better. That's what I was brought in to do. And so it's just working in a different capacity. I think that I like helping players, and I think the players know that and appreciate that. And I think the time that we spend as a coaching staff doing that. But my mindset hasn't changed. I'm still looking to help the players get better and looking really just towards the next game to make sure that our club is in a good, positive spot.
We are going to transition onto the Zoom. Ben Wright.
Hey, Rumba. Just curious for your thoughts on Miami and kind of how they approach things. It felt like maybe definitely after their first goal, but certainly once they went up 2-0, it felt like they were able to maybe sit back a little bit and kind of just limit space in the final third, close down passing lanes, and just absorb a lot of pressure. I'm just curious how you felt they approached the game, and maybe as the game went on, do you feel like you guys were able to kind of grow into breaking them down more?
Yeah, I think we did take our opportunities. I think even in the first half, there's opportunities. If you take those 2 actions of the goals that they scored, there was we were able to play in pockets. We were able to advance the ball. We were able to get scoring opportunities. And I think after they scored, it was beneficial for them, but also just the way that the game turned. I think we changed formation, which allowed us to get a little bit more pressure on the ball, which they turned the ball over more than they did in the first half, which allowed us to get on the ball more and build more confidence. And then I think as they were ahead, I think we also pushed them back. So playing against a team that's sitting at the top of their box and trying to find the exact right passes and the right situations, we scored a PK off of a corner, but I think we also created some chances even still in the run of play. So it is very difficult to break down a set defense like that.
Ben, any final questions from you? All right. Thank you, everybody. That will conclude today's availability with Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Recording stopped.
Midfielder Amar Sejdić. Amar, your thoughts on the game and your impact on the second half?
Just a little bit frustrating. We really wanted a better result than what we had. Obviously, 2 set-piece goals that we conceded. Just something that we got to review, get better on, and kind of improve. But I think overall, like second half, we were all over them, trying to create chances, possessing the ball, connecting small passes, and just trying to be on the front foot. And we just ultimately couldn't find a finishing product. But it's just learning moments, and how do we grow from that and keep going as a team.
Yeah. Amar, you coming into a game down 2-0, knowing you need to push the ball forward and try to score goals. How do you feel coming into a game in that situation? Kind of suits your strengths?
I mean, when you're down 2-0, it's kind of how can I come into the field and make an impact? How can I make the guys around me better? And how can I give the guys on the ball confidence? So for me as a midfielder, I got to work both ways. I'm a box-to-box guy. I like to connect small passes. I like looking behind. And like to put guys in good positions to advance the ball forward. So yeah, for me it was just kind of trying to get the energy going and some rhythm into the game and try to change the result.
You've signed with Nashville this season, obviously, and it's been, you haven't gotten a lot of opportunities, a lot of minutes. You have one start so far into the season. When you signed, was this what you expected in terms of minutes? And also, is it hard to be kind of out of the team sheet and into the starting lineup, or not into the starting lineup as often?
No, I mean it's just kind of how it's been. It's just a part of the professional world. You just have to kind of always be ready for your opportunity. The culture that we have on the team and from the organization all the way down to the bottom, from the top to the bottom, we're very close knit. And for me, I just want to be available and help the team when I can. The guys in the locker room are obviously very supportive. All the guys that do get an opportunity to play, they take their moments. And for me, it's the same way. I'm there to be my best at training, and when I come on the field, I want to be my best as well. So it's just a matter of, yeah, I haven't played as much, but every day is a new opportunity, and hopefully, I know that this team has a lot of potential going forward, and I think we can accomplish some very big things. So the vibe and the culture that we have in the locker room is very important. I think that's great for players that aren't starting all the time and do get some minutes here and there. So I think that eventually it comes down to a point where you need everybody, and long run, that's what it's going to take. So I think we have a great team to be able to do that.
Amar, considering what you guys did in the second half, with the chances you try to create and stuff, and also considering the positive results, especially the last two victories before tonight's game, how much of a setback tonight's defeat is?
I don't want to say it's a setback. I think it's an opportunity to learn. Okay, how do we concede 2 goals? Review them, analyze them, improve those situations. How can we create more scoring opportunities? How can we link up from the back line to the midfield to the front line? How can we create a little bit more combination play? How can we create a little bit more rhythm? How can we engage our fullbacks, our wingers? I think it's more, I wouldn't say it's a setback. I think it's a new opportunity to learn, to grow, and to keep progressing, because I think we have a great rhythm. But yeah, we lost 3 points tonight, but we have a new opportunity on Wednesday against a strong team like Columbus, and then it's one game at a time. So we still have a second half of the season ahead, and we have to be optimistic and positive about it.
Amar, you mentioned about the potential this team has going forward. What's one thing specifically that you could probably talk on or just mention about, that you'd hone in on for the future? Like, what is that one thing, key potential that would be unlocked? I guess the best way to put it.
I mean, for me, being new to this team coming in, it's the leadership aspect and the culture within the team. Everyone is a leader in their own way. It's an open locker room in that sense, where guys hold each other accountable, and everybody wants what's best for the team. So I think when that level of unselfishness comes into play, it's a key factor in the long stretches. Individuals may win awards, but I think when it comes down to a collective, that's what wins the big trophies. So I think that's something that this group has, and like I said, yeah, the organization is something that keens in on it. So I think we have a very special group here.
When you came on, there were a couple moments where you were talking to the players in front of you and maybe motioning a little bit to them. I also saw you talking to Rumba a couple times and kind of back and forth a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about what that conversation was about in the second half?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I talk a lot on the field, but yeah, probably just for guys to. I know that at a certain point when we went to a back 3 with me and Brian kind of sitting, and then we had the front 3 as well, I wanted 2 of the guys to pin their back 4, and then one of them to come drop in and draw in a center back. So that way, if a center back comes in, there's a ball in behind, or we can link up play between the lines. So, but it's just a matter when it's a hot day like that. I mean, the guys that played like 90 minutes, it's hard in those last 10, 15 minutes to really get that energy to go make those runs. But ultimately, yeah, just kind of messaging them that I'm looking for them. I want them to look for me on top of the box. And then, yeah, Rumba just saying to find the ball from Walker and Jack and try to kind of connect the field and dictate the tempo a little bit.
Ben Wright with the final question for the night.
Hey Amar, first off, I'm from Louisville, so it's always fun to see fellow Louisville guys in MLS. I was curious for your thoughts. You talked about kind of trying to open up space. Obviously, pushing for a goal against a team that's defending a lead is never easy. How do you feel like kind of the center forwards were able to impact it? Obviously, Teal is pretty experienced in MLS and does a great job holding up. How do you feel like kind of things shifted between him and then Forster when he came on, as far as just kind of opening up space underneath?
Yeah, no, Teal does a great job holding the ball up and kind of sending it back to the midfielders who ultimately see the field a little bit better and can play the next pass. Forster came in great. I think that he has that youth level of energy that kind of brings a lot of joy when he steps on the field in that sense. And you saw it tonight when he's a big boy. He can hold the ball up. When he turns, he's very powerful. So, no, I think when you get a fresh set of legs like that, and he was very courageous. The 1v1 he had there in the last few minutes, if it would have slotted away, he was the star of the show. So I think it's a kudos to him because he puts in great work in training, and he's gotten the opportunities in the last couple of games to come out into the field. And yeah, it's a fresh set of legs. And like I said, we need everybody on this team for the long stretch, and it's great to see, yeah, the rookie play.
Thank you, everybody. Just a reminder that we have our match day -2 media availability on Monday morning from the training ground, so keep that in mind as we prepare for Columbus on the Wednesday. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.